All right, hey everybody, we are back for yet another episode, and man, I'll tell you what, this is, I don't know, this has been a lot of fun. This has been a lot of fun for us. We've kind of been expanding this and rolling this and keep going with this more and more and more. And thank you. A lot of you are giving us a lot of feedback, man. It's been a lot of helpful. We appreciate some of the criticisms out there that continue to encourage us to become better and better.
Some of the criticisms.
Some of the criticisms.
Yeah, not all of it.
So, but you know, and you can't take too much. But yeah. So this is going really, really well. So obviously, we're going to continue to keep moving forward on some topics that we think are extremely relevant for business owners. You know, specific to who we deal with. On a daily basis. We think. There's some a wealth of knowledge here that we think everybody can use at some point in time. So, yeah, you ready to jump in?
I'm ready.
Okay, all right, let's jump in. So, we talked last week a little bit about mindset. I think that this is kind of like just a continuation of that. So, sure. And that is, as store owners or even staff at a store, you can't afford to have an opinion.
Correct.
So why don't you just jump right in and kind of tell us what you think of that?
Well, where that came about was working in retail early on. Some know that I was a drummer, and when I started working in retail, I worked at a music store that had one drum set and a couple cymbals, and the owner said, "I know you play drums, but I don't want nothing to do with drums." So I was already at a disadvantage because...
He must have been a lead singer.
He was a guitar player.
Oh, okay.
So it was pretty much a guitar shop, and so I had to quickly learn how to sell guitars.
Okay.
So the manager at the time didn't want to show me anything about guitars, didn't want to tell me anything about it. He just wanted to watch me flounder, pretty much. So as time went, I got magazines and I got manufacturer's catalog, took them home to learn the woods, the styles, the different brands and all that, and then I began to sell.
Okay.
And with that came a lot of success. And in hindsight, looking back on it, part of that reason was not because I was going in and knowing everything. I was just going in and helping customers. Okay. I was truly accidentally doing it the right way. I was finding out what their needs were, what their price points were, and just helping out the customers. And then so as I learned, and as I got better and better and learned the woods, the styles, the types, the models, all that, then I became more confident with it. And then there was a little bit of a transition with that because then I became a little bit opinionated.
Okay.
And with that, there became a little more resistance with customers. And I remember thinking to myself, I can't afford an opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. I know that a lot of owners, music store owners, it could be even online too. You kind of get in this mindset, or you kind of get in this groove, or you could even say a rut that, like, okay, I know what the people want who walk in my store. I know what they want, so I'm gonna just get whatever I think I can sell.
I'm gonna sell what I like.
How is that? Yeah. How is that going down the wrong road?
Well, I think a lot of times it is. We sell what we like. And so a lot of times someone comes in and we're not even qualifying them. We're not even looking or even asking them know what they want. We're just immediately assuming and jumping to a favorite model, a favorite brand, and we're not asking any questions. So we immediately push on them product that we feel like they need.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know the world that we live in too it's an online world. We all have to deal with that. But there's a lot of opportunities where I've walked into music stores in the past, and I went looking for something specific, and they didn't have that. Now, that might be an opportunity then where somebody goes, well, I don't have that,
but I got this.
But I've got this. Sure. But also at the same time, you might be shooting yourself in the foot by purposely deciding not to carry certain things because you just don't want to carry that stuff or you don't like that.
Sure, and a lot of times what happens is if you put your opinion too strongly on somebody, there's resistance, and a lot of times they go, okay, well, thanks a lot, I'll be back later and I'll come back another day. What they're really doing is going to another music store.
Yeah.
So a lot of times what we need to do, or all the times, is stop, qualify the person, and ask questions that will lead to a sell of what they want and what's better for them, not necessarily what you want.
Yeah.
And that's why I have spent a long time selling guitars, because I'm not overly opinionated about guitars.
Yeah.
You know, and even with drums, when I sold a lot of drums, I had to stop and watch what I said, because it may not be giving good service to the customer. I may be trying to sell an entry line drum set to a mom who really wants an intermediate kit.
Yeah.
Or I might be selling a you know, a double bass to somebody who just wants to play a small drum set. You know, I never stop, or you got to stop and ask those questions to find out what exactly they need, not what you want to sell, but what they need.
Yeah, and I have obviously working with a lot of our clients. We hear a lot of situations, and I do know some store owners get frustrated because they have that mindset, or maybe they've already formed an opinion because of the area that they're in. You know, somebody walks in the store and they ask a question about a guitar, you gravitate towards, oh, well, here, let me show you that $99 guitar.
Sure,
and
sure.
they might be going, well, I was wanting to buy something a little bit nicer, but they keep gravitating me here. So that, you know, we should not be forming those opinions automatically right outside the gate. We need to kind of expand our horizons and be thinking much bigger than what we think of ourselves.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times what we do is we immediately assume it's easy to sell a $99 guitar.
Sure.
So that's what customer or salesmen do, is they go to what's easy instead of asking the question, what is your budget? A lot of times I will ask, what price point do we need to stay under? And then they may actually want to spend $500 or $600. And a lot of times I would show them guitars that would be throughout their price point, and I would also show them guitars that were a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now when I did that, I would tell them why, you know, what the difference is, and let them decide. And a lot of times they would actually buy a guitar that was a little more money.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned it real quick just a second ago, but the opposite is true too. I mean, if somebody comes in looking for something specific, you may have that, you know, but you don't want to let your opinion get in the way. But you might actually say, hey, listen, I realize you like this guitar or this drum set, but man, let me show you this. Let's get your opinion on this, because you might actually like this a little bit better. So kind of taking yourself out of the equation, but being you know, being a good salesperson that's giving them options to be able to buy what might fit them best.
Yeah, there's always brands that we like more than other brands. I mean, again, working in retail, there were some brands, to be quite frank, I just did not like them.
Yeah.
And if somebody came in and say, I want to buy this brand, immediately I would kind of, I don't want to sell that guitar. And it's easy to go ahead and say, hey, let me show you this guitar instead. But we need to service our customers, and we need to sell what they're asking for, or a brand. They may have a favorite brand, or someone may have told them to look at these brands. We can always go in there and show them those brands, but like you mentioned earlier, we can show them other brands as well. But the key is to show them why something else is something that they should look at.
Yeah, and kind of like we've had lots of conversations about it too, that you know, you might actually need certain brands in your stores, even though you don't like those brands, but sometimes certain brands help you sell other instruments in your store.
Yeah, and they're again, I tend to be, and I have to be careful with this, very opinionated. So there are certain brands that I carried when I worked retail, and there's certain brands that we carry here today that I just don't like them. I don't like the company, I don't like what they stand for, but I see the value in what they have to offer to consumers. And so I have to, again, keep my opinion out of the equation. There's some inventory that we all know that you make good margin on, and some that you don't make as much margin. So a lot of times we shift to that brand that we make more margin on. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants a fill-in-the-blank guitar, and you know you don't make a whole lot of money on that, you know, show them the other brand. but we have to come to realize that they want this particular guitar. So be careful with that.
Yeah, and actually, as we're talking, I'm sitting here thinking about even myself that, when I'm working with clients here, man, a lot of times I have people say, oh, I need something, or I need this, I can use this, and I go right to, pushing specific, whether it's a brand,
Sure.
or a style of guitar or something, and a lot of times they're like, no, I don't need that. And I'll be like, no, you do need this. You'll sell this really, really well. And they're like, well, that's not what I need right now. So I can get my opinions. My opinions can reflect on what I'm doing with my clients. So and I apologize about that if anybody's watching this. So, but obviously as store owners and as salespeople, the best thing we can do is serve our customers as best as we possibly can.
And I think that should be number one. I mean, I have sold a lot of gear in my life, and it's just because I asked the question, what are you looking for? What do you need? How can I help you? I try to be very, very cautious to push my opinion onto people when it comes to that, because they're the ones that has the money. They're the ones that are going to be playing it or giving it as a gift. I'm not going to their house and playing it. They are. So I need to find out what they need, what they're looking for, what they want.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we can all think that there's certain products out there that are horrible, but man, to somebody else that might be exactly what they want.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing too, I think part of this is we can't have an opinion necessarily on styles of instruments in our store as well. We need to potentially appeal to a wide range of people if we want more people walking in our store, right?
I agree with that. I mean, one of the and I've joked around with you about it, and I say it is we get some customers that say, I can only sell dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
I can't sell grand auditorium or small guitars. I can only sell dreadnoughts. To me, that's a baffling statement, because it's what they like. It's what they're used to selling.
Yeah.
They're not used to selling grand auditorium or parlor size. And if they really stop to think about it, they're not filling the needs of some of their customers. They have small frame guitar players walk in, they have moms, they have, the list goes on and on. So they're not qualifying. They want to put a dreadnought in the hands of maybe a 9-year-old girl to play guitar.
Doesn't make sense.
No, but a grand auditorium or a parlor size, something that's comfortable, something that's easy to play. So get your opinion and get out of the way with it, and look at the customer and find out what their need is.
And that could even expand into different instruments, whether it could be ukuleles, which we all know is kind of up and down, but ukuleles, mandolins. Should we say banjos?
I was going to say, I hope you don't bring up banjos.
Yeah, I don't know. I get it.
If somebody asks for a banjo, just act like you didn't hear them.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What was that? You want an electric guitar?
An electric guitar?
Yeah.
Well, I know. And there's banjo. Man, there are some crazy banjo players out there. But and I met that extremely well.
The banjo players are crazy, or crazy good, or
no, they're crazy. They're crazy.
They are crazy.
What do you think causes a person to want to pick up a banjo in the first place?
I don't know. I hope I never find out.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And I do know there's.
I think we're digressing.
Yeah.
On topic.
So, but anyway, so I guess to prove our point here, you got to have a banjo maybe in your store, because somebody's going to walk in,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, okay, all right.
Anyways,
so
let's move on.
Yeah, you make that decision for yourself. So, but anyway, so obviously we can't have an opinion. We need to have a wide array of options for people walking in, especially for people who are selling online.
Yeah.
I think you need to be able to create opportunity, not only for yourself but for the people that are looking to buy something from you.
Sure.
So, but anyways, so. We can't afford to have an opinion. We have to serve our customers and our clients as best as we possibly can. Now, there's kind of the thing, we brought it up before in the past, that like Reverb and eBay and places like that are so very well done that they create an opportunity to be able to enter into that realm extremely easily. So, but it's obviously also kind of created kind of a situation too as well that you feel like maybe is kind of a lost concept. You know, we would call you know, the race to zero. We talked about it on an episode before. You know, everybody wants to sell something quicker, so the price keeps going down. But something that can stop that race to zero is something we want to stop the single transaction. Now,
Correct.
Being that single transaction is online, you know, somebody clicks and buys that guitar, there's no real opportunity to add on to that. So it's just literally a single transaction.
Single
so
item,
how is that hurting us?
Well, I think it just hurts all over the place. I mean, let's start with the brick and mortar store, and then we'll go to online. Partly because the online, it's kind of a baffling situation.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton of answers for that, but let's start with the brick and mortar. You know, there's a lot of competition out there, so if we're not careful, our salesmen focus on getting the sale. The whole thing that they're focused on is somebody walks in and goes, yeah, I want to buy a guitar, so they immediately go, oh, I got to sell this guitar. There's a sense of urgency. So actually their talents and their gifts to help people out go out the window. They're trying to just sell a guitar. But what I would like to see happen is what it used to be like, and in some stores they still do this. There's some great stores out there, so I'm not saying that there's not. But the staff they sell the guitar and then they count that as a victory. And how they do that is they have a calculator and they figure out what's the cheapest I can sell this guitar. But I remember, you know, the days where you give a price and then they're looking at it and they're thinking about it, and then you go to other stuff. You go to the accessories. You go to, do you have a tuner? Do you have a gig bag? Or do you have a hard shell case? Or look at these straps that we have. Do you have a guitar stand? There's a lot of other things that you can bring into the equation and get the focus off just selling one guitar. You could create a package, so when you package something together, everything isn't price specific. So they're not thinking about where else can I buy this or what else can I do. So, you know, a lot of people will come in and they'll buy a guitar from you, but they buy their accessories somewhere else. And that's something I would love to see change. Instead of them going on a website and just buying a guitar stand or buying something else from a place that doesn't even really carry musical stuff. They carry all kinds of stuff, but they'll have some musical stuff. Keep themselves in your store. Teach and train your salesmen to go beyond just selling one product, because with that product you end up devaluing it and figuring out what can I sell this for at the very, very lowest point to just get the sell. Quit camping on that and quit making it about one item, but create other things to sell.
That's right. And man, think about the money that's being left on the table.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars are taken out of music stores and they're put on websites that their main focus is not even musical instruments.
No, it's just to sell, just for as little as they possibly can. Now, and I understand those are businesses too, and you know, even some of our listeners of this might be in the opportunity to try to sell more product out there, and I get that. But man, there's so much money left on the table of people that don't sell a case, a gig bag. You know, I know a lot of people a lot of times walk in the store and go, hey, do you price match? You know, oh yeah, I price match. Well, you automatically go, yeah, wham, you knock that down. You know, sometimes that's a good situation. You know, but sometimes maybe we need to be creative. We need to not race down to that zero. Like, yeah, I'll price match you with store credit, or I'll price match you with, you know, and you could think of other opportunities or that could be beneficial.
Yeah, and a lot of times if they're asking for a price match, they're in there wanting to buy something.
Absolutely.
And you know, sometimes the question or what you need to respond with is like, hey, let's put you a package together. Let's get you a group of stuff, and here, this total right here includes all this stuff. Is this something you're interested in? And a lot of times the word price match goes out the door. They're like, yeah, I can afford $400 or $500 for
That's
all
right.
of this stuff, and they're not even focusing on the individual stuff like that. But I think that comes down to salesmen and the quality of the salesman.
Yeah.
But instead, we're so afraid, we're so worried, we're so we've just lost talent.
Yeah.
We need to get back to getting back to the sale and asking for the sale and capturing the sale, and quit worrying so much about someone walking out the door. We need to just find out what they're looking for, what they want, and sometimes that race to zero hurts us more than it helps us.
It is. The race to zero, and the single transaction can just suck the life out of the life out of a store. Yeah, I mean, why, yeah, you would want, if somebody walks in the store and buys something, I would want to think that the mentality would be, well, hey, how do I get these people to want to come back and be a part of this community? I know, people are doing lessons, but but like you're right. People feel the victory. Oh man, I sold this. I got it down. They walked in. They showed me an ad. I matched that. We got it way down as far as we could. They walked out the door, and then they don't see them again.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I remember like getting a sell on a guitar, and maybe you sell other things, and then I would also think about what will they be looking for next. So you get somebody, maybe they're a young player and they come in and buy an electric guitar, and they get some stuff and they're excited and happy about it. I would immediately go, do you have any pedals? Well, check out this distortion pedal. You get a Boss DS1 or something like that was real popular, and you could get this for only this price. Well, I'm already planting the seed for that person to come back and buy something from me. And so, again, I'm not trying to sell one item. I'm trying to sell multiple items. I'm trying to create a customer. I'm trying to get them to come back. I'm trying to get them to tell all their friends. And how you do that is by creating an experience for them. Caring for your customer, asking them questions, making them feel important. Because a lot of times there's young players that have more money than we think they are. And they come in and they buy a guitar and you think, wow, I took all of his money, or that's all the money he has. But they don't realize that he gets allowance, he's mowing yards, he's got a birthday coming up. And so not only do we need to get the sell, but we need to do add-ons, and then we also need to plant a seed about what else they're looking for. You got a small practice amp. Hey, let's look at the next phase of amps. And what about this one? This one's kind of middle of the road. You like this? Plug him in, let him play it, because it already plants seeds for him to save up his money and come in and buy another guitar or amp.
Yeah, I mean, because every kid's going to break strings, and I guess it's what have store owners done to plant in that child's mind, or the parents of that child, that if the strings break, am I going to get online and order them, or am I going to go over and walk into my music store and buy them? And that's a huge thing, and the single transaction mentality has kind of driven people like that to want to just, now I'll just jump online and order it. I'll have it in 2 days. It's free shipping. It makes it so much easier. But then now that community feel at music stores kind of suffers really poorly. So, what are some things? Maybe we can talk about some things that, or even something specific that would help fight against that single transaction or that race to zero. What do you think would be a good idea?
I think a big part of it is connecting with the customer. I mean, again, I go back to, when not knowing guitars early on, I had to use personality. I had to use other things to create a bond and a chemistry with a customer. And then over the course of time, you just find out more about your customer. You know their name. There's all these other things that go on. It makes them want to come back. How you treat people, how you look at them, how you act. There's so much of that plays into. If we've talked about this before. If you got staff that are washed up musicians, man, they don't care about your clients. They're just frustrated because they didn't turn into a rock star. You need to find nice people, and we do that here. Find nice people, even if they don't know how to do a specific job. You can train them. If you hire somebody that knows how to do the job, but they're grumpy and hateful, you don't want to hire that person.
Yeah.
So how can we get them to come back is connect with your customers, get to know their name. What are they? What's going on in their life? What are they looking for? How can you help them? Those are the kind of things that help ensure that they come back and make other purchases.
Yeah, and obviously a store owner's continuous education is gonna support that mentality, that mindset. So, but also, you know, we've talked too about putting, you know, obviously going around and putting spiffs on specific items.
Yes.
That creates opportunities for your sales staff.
Yes, I think it's very, very easy in the world we live in to look at a single item or a single situation and not look at the big picture.
Yeah.
You know, and this may or may not be popular with everybody, but I'm just going to be very candid and maybe let out a few secrets that we even do here. Is so you have an item in your store, and say it's a slow-moving item. Say it's something that the salesmen have overlooked and they're not paying attention to. But it's a good item. It's priced right. Everything looks good on it, but it's just sitting there collecting dust.
Yeah.
Something that is very popular is to put a spiff on it. So say you have a guitar that you have marked down to $300. And you go, man, I'm just gonna discount that 20% off more, and just to get rid of it. So now you take that and you knock it down to $240. Well, how about you leave it at $300 and give your salesman a $20 spiff,
Yeah.
which puts it down to $280. So you saved $40. You've made $40. And you're giving your salesman $20 worth of a spiff to sell a certain item. A lot of times we don't focus on things as salespeople. We just, again, find out what we like, what's easy to sell, what's popular, what's hot, what someone asks for, but we don't look at certain items and it just escapes us.
Yeah.
You know, there's several situations that we can get into, but I'm a big fan of rewarding your salesmen and the staff that work for you. We could easily discount it and get rid of it through a customer, which, you know, it might be a good thing, but how much better it is to give your salesman or somebody who works for you a little extra money, and you can actually save some of that money.
Yeah.
And so you win, they win, and the item's sold.
Well, and truth be told, kind of separates out the I don't want to say the good from the bad, but for lack of a better word, good from the bad. I mean, you give opportunity or create opportunity for your sales staff to jump on it.
Yeah.
You have those who are educated, who want to be there, who have a good mindset and attitude.
Yeah.
They see the opportunity and they jump on it. I've actually had store owners tell me, they're like, man, I put spiffs on these kind of guitars because I would love for these to go away, and they still don't even gravitate towards them. And that's, you know, that's that you're like, well, maybe those aren't the right people that need to be on your floor selling, because they don't
maybe
even
they don't need to get rid
recognize
of the guitar, they need to get rid of the employee.
Well, yeah, I think that's obviously something to think about.
Sure.
But obviously, you need to create every opportunity you can, but also at the end of the day, as we're removing our opinions from ourselves, we are, you know, trying to fight back against that race to zero. We're creating opportunities for our sales staff. I guess at the end of the day, we always have to ask ourselves questions. You know, it's like, you know, hey, if people are not buying things from our store or certain items, we have to ask ourselves, why are they not doing that?
Well, they're buying them from somewhere.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
That's my point. Why are they not buying them from us? And that's a good time to reevaluate ourselves.
Well, it is. I mean, and we can track our employees through sales and all that. But getting back to the spiffs and something like that, is it doesn't have to be on a single guitar. We're talking about add-ons. We're talking about other stuff. But we used to get spiffs over a $25 sale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you sell a tuner for $26, we would write down $26, and then it's up to the store owner to figure out, you know, do they want to do, you know, usually it's like a percentage, maybe a couple percent. So it's not a whole lot of money, but it is on your paycheck. Once you sell a bunch of stuff, you can add up and go, wow, I made an extra $40, $50 this week, or whatever the numbers is. And that's what we need to think about is to keep our salesmen moving, not just sell a guitar, but sell all this other stuff.
That's right.
We can package it together, and instead of selling $300, the salesman might be able to sell $450 because they sold them a case, a tuner, a strap, and all the accessories to go with it. So it also promotes the salesperson to be aggressive in add-ons.
Yeah, and actually, one of my customers was telling me too that they actually put Spiffs on percentages. So like they know, like on the margin of a guitar. So
Okay.
like, hey, as long as you keep the margin of an instrument or accessory or whatever
Yeah.
it is above this, great. You get a spiff on that,
It's a
which
good idea.
encourages
It's a good
them
idea.
to go to not want to race to
Yes,
zero
yes,
to get
good
rid of
idea.
that thing.
Yeah.
So kind of they give them the whole entire picture. They give them the freedom to sell something, but
Yeah.
also give them the incentive to say if you want
They
to
gotta
make
make
extra
money,
money,
yes,
they need to make
yeah.
some money, which means you need to be making the store some money.
Sure, absolutely.
So, which I think that was actually a great
good idea, yeah.
But giving every opportunity. You know, why are people going away from your store and buying it from somewhere else? Because maybe you aren't creating
Yeah.
every opportunity within your store.
Well, you're not asking. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a lot of times, again, we just want to sell a guitar, and we think, wow, there's a victory there. We sold a guitar, and the person walks out, and you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
But what they're doing is they're going home, and they're like, wow, I didn't even get a guitar stand. I didn't get a case. I didn't get a strap.
Yeah.
I didn't get even a book to learn, or or they didn't even tell me they did lessons. So they go online and they figure out where they can buy that, and then all of a sudden their attention isn't on your store; it's somewhere else.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I guess the situation too is if you go back and reevaluate your sales for a day or a week or a month, and how many of those were just single transactions? You know, the big question is why is my staff doing this? Am I not educating them enough?
Yeah.
Am I not creating enough opportunity that it's causing our customers to walk out the door and buy something?
Yeah, and
somewhere
I don't
else?
think there's nothing wrong with with someone buying a guitar and walking out with just a guitar, especially when they could be a candidate for some other stuff, is to ask the question is, why didn't you sell them anything else?
Yeah.
I think we've gotten away from actually teaching and showing our staff how to upsell people. And I think that's what we need to do. As store owners, again, you brought it up earlier, how much money are we not keeping in our store by selling some of this stuff? But we as owners and managers need to be responsible to ask the question, how come we didn't add on to this?
Yeah.
You know, and some of that might be that you don't have the infrastructure. You don't have some of that stuff close to the counter maybe.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's where you need to put it, where in a showcase where you're ringing up someone where you have a tuner, and or even a little package where it says, here's some things that you may want to buy with your guitar. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, and obviously everybody has certain brands that try to create those opportunities for you. You could buy a guitar, the gig bag, a strap, a pick.
Yeah.
You know, it comes with a book. It's all one price. You know, a lot of times we might use that opportunity, but that mentality to get rid of that single transaction mentality needs to be across the board everywhere.
Absolutely.
Whether it's
Yep.
you know, sound reinforcement.
Sure,
or,
absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know, or amps or pedals. You know,
Yeah, because
man,
people could come in and ask for some speakers, but you're not selling them cables. You're
Yeah.
not selling them stands to go along with your speakers.
Yeah.
So you go, wow, here's a victory. Someone came in and wanted some single 15s, and you got it, and they walked out, and you wrote up $500-600, but you didn't sell them stands. You didn't sell them cables. You didn't ask them, do you have any monitors?
Yeah.
You know, you're not doing your job basically.
Yeah, well, and guitar players. I mean, you know, guitar players are some of the biggest suckers. I mean, biggest customers out there when it comes to guitar pedals. Guitar pedals is just a funny realm altogether. But you know, I mean, you got guitar players that are just like, they'll go buy a pedal, and then they'll go home and try it, and then they don't like it, and they're selling it that night or something like
Yeah.
that. So creating every opportunity around the whole guitar accessory world
Sure.
is a big deal. So, you know, are you creating opportunities where if somebody buys something, you know, do they want to come back into where you are to,
Yeah.
you know, whether you trade stuff out, you buy stuff back, you can improve your You know, you can improve cables, you know, pedal boards, all of that kind of stuff. There's just tons of opportunities
there is.
I know it's so easy to go over online and click on that and buy that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what, there's nothing cooler than walking into a guitar store and looking at that stuff, trying that stuff
touching
out.
It.
Touching it and using it and everything. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. You have a final thought on all of this?
No, I just think it's important topics. I think it's things that we need to talk about, and as store owners and managers, it constantly needs to be on our radar. We need to examine we're talking about single purchases.
Yeah.
You know, we need to examine that and find out, why are we not selling more product? Why are we not opening up opportunities to have bigger tickets? You know, because a lot of times it may, like guitars, a lot of times, because it is so competitive, everybody's discounting so much that there's not as much margin. But when you look at accessories and you look at add-ons, that's where your margin's at.
Yeah.
Now, the dollar amount might be more with a guitar, but your margins are there on accessories.
Yeah.
So gather all them stuff up. Don't discount them so hard that you're not making money on those as well. But help the customer, help them get a stand and a strap, recommend stuff, show them things, you know, talk to them about what their next purchase is.
Yeah.
Ask them what they want next.
Plant that seed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just ask the question, what else will you be looking for in the next 6 months or 3 months, or what's your next purchase going to be?
Yeah.
And then it opens up conversation. It lets them just share with you what you're looking for. And, you know, sometimes they'll say, well, you know, I got this acoustic. My next purchase is going to be a nice acoustic amp.
Yeah.
Great. And you may be thinking, wow, I just ordered some. And you may say, hey, I just ordered some amps that I think you'll really like. Can I call you in a week or two when they come in, and you can come down and try it out?
Yeah.
And they may go, yeah, that would be great. Then they come in, and then, you know, you end up selling them an amp as well.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times we just need to talk with our customers. We need to ask them, what else are you looking for?
Yeah, and let's just talk about this real fast. We won't, you know, obviously margin is a tricky word, but I was even trying to choose my words carefully there. It's a tricky word, but hey, as store owners and as retailers, I mean, how have we gotten to the point where that we've expected so much, we gravitate towards the single transaction? What do we expect? What do we expect? The single transaction is the one thing that slams margin down as far as you possibly go, and then all of a sudden people are talking about there's no margin, there's no margin, there's no margin, when in reality the thought pattern behind margin is getting rid of the single transaction, and you've got to add on. That's a big
part of it.
Because successful store owners would say, I'm not going to sell a guitar, I've got to sell everything around it. I've got to get them to come back. I've got to do everything you just said, plant that seed, get them to come back and buy the amp.
Well,
is
and
that
I think
what we're fighting against?
Yeah, here? I think it is, but I think maybe not more so than this, but a big part of it is we're not training. We're not taking our time with our staff to have the conversation of adding on. We're not educating people. We're hiring people, and a lot of times we're hiring the cheapest person we can possibly get that has no talent, has no skill. They basically just know how to ring somebody up.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going after people who are qualified or people who have a certain personality that we're after, and educate them and show them and say, hey, let's add on to sales. And something I try to do as much as possible is to give the why behind it.
Yeah.
And you can even tell the staff, hey, this is how we keep the doors open. You know, yeah, it's great to sell a guitar, but we keep the doors open by adding on to things. This is where we can actually make a couple bucks because we're not making as much on a single transaction. You know, as a package, our profit margins go up.
Yeah.
And not only that, as we create loyalty with a customer, you get to have a relationship with them. And if you do what you're supposed to, you find out what else they're looking for.
Yeah.
And then before long, you have a lifelong customer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can think about just the way I think about things. Man, I go buy strings from the same place all the time. I don't go and you know, and kind of flutter around when it comes to this kind of stuff. I just buy strings from the same place. all the time because people they want that familiarity.
Yeah,
so
sure.
It's kind of, we have to create those kind of situations, but we also have to we have to step up to the plate and realize that obviously that race to zero, that single transaction is one of the biggest margin killers ever.
It's big. It's big time.
It is big. So, but yeah, and I don't know. That's about all I have right now. What do you have?
I have nothing. I think we're good.
All right.
We talked about banjos and got rid of that topic fast. I flipped over this magazine with somebody on there that I don't really care for.
Don't say them out loud.
I'm not going to because it'll offend somebody.
Somebody's going to get offended by who's actually on the magazine.
Yeah.
Somebody, how could you? It's sacrilegious. It's a guitar player, but anyways, and I've seen that person live. You've seen that person live
twice.
too.
Yeah,
Twice?
Twice. Yeah.
I did.
Well, they were opening up for somebody else who I've seen twice.
Oh, okay. And that was a cool concert.
Yes,
actually, that's one of the most monumental concerts I
Yes.
think that's been in the United States in the last.
I agree.
Ever.
Yeah, and people
Since
are
Elvis
going,
left
"What
the
the heck
building."
are you talking about?"
Well, we're talking about who's on the front of that magazine that Richard.
But we're talking about the band U2.
Yeah.
Yes, and the Rattle
So
and Hum.
they played with U2 during the
Yes.
Rattle and Hum.
Yes, when they were filming it. Yes,
filming.
and I was there both nights.
I saw him actually play one night, and Kenny Wayne Shepherd played on before him, and that dude was getting paid by the note.
That's an odd building.
Well, it was
building.
his
blues
blues festival.
Okay.
It was his blues festival.
Oh.
And so B.B.
So
King,
Kenny.
yeah.
So you just said the name.
Kenny,
Yeah.
no, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
There's the cover of the album.
I didn't say him, but Tower Power played.
Oh, great band.
Which I only knew one of their songs, and then Kenny Wayne Shepherd played.
Tower
and
Power is a great band.
Like I said, Kenny Wayne Shepherd was getting paid by the note.
Yes.
And then B.B. King came out and played about 4 notes the entire night.
The same 4 notes.
But the
The same
entourage came
horrible
out and
notes.
took his cape off and
Yes,
sat
yes,
down and beep beep beep.
Yeah.
But anyways. So we just lost everybody.
We're editing this.
Anyway, but hey, another great
We
conversation.
can't afford an opinion, can
we
we?
can't, yeah, sorry, we just totally gave our opinion. That was actually very ironic. So,
Yeah.
But anyways, all right, another great show, another great episode, talking about things that matter. Obviously, join in the conversation, give us feedback however you possibly can. I realize a lot of you are giving feedback.
Yes,
Hey,
thank you.
there just might be a time in the future that if you give feedback, we'll address what you have to say. I know a lot of you have been saying things. Some of you are very positive. You really like. Some of you are, you're critiquing some of the things we're saying. That's great because everybody has real life situations that they're in the middle of.
Yes.
So, and we get that.
And we're not ignoring anybody. We read everybody's comments. We value all the comments.
That's exactly right.
They're very appreciated.
That's right. And we might give our opinion, though, on some of those comments.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. We'll see. But that we could get into more trouble. But anyway, all right. But hey, check these out. Obviously, as we go along, you might even be able to find us on social media and some other things. So check those out. We'll have more information on that as we go. But just jump in the next episode. Give us feedback, whether it's on the YouTube channel or anywhere else. And we'll see you next time.
Yep, thank you.